Some moments in life are supposed to change everything. Moments you rehearse in your mind since childhood. Not because you want applause, but because you hope the people who raised you will finally see you. For me, that moment was supposed to be graduation. Not high school, not college, but my master's degree in data analytics. The biggest achievement of my life. I imagined the cheering, the hugs, my mom crying like moms do in movies, dad squeezing my shoulder the way fathers do when they're proud, my little sister jumping around screaming my name. But real life doesn't always clap for you. Sometimes it sits quietly, sometimes it doesn't show up at all, and sometimes it steals from you instead. That May afternoon, the stadium shimmered in sunlight, navy gowns, fluttering tassels, proud parents holding bouquets and phones high, capturing memories they'd replay forever. I stood among them, warm sun on my skin, heart pounding, waiting for validation I spent years chasing. A voice boomed over the speakers. Camila Elaine Reed, Master of Data Analytics. My name, my moment. I lifted my head instinctively, eyes searching the first row. The seats reserved for family. Empty. Cold metal glinting under the sun. A row meant for pride. Now nothing but shining proof that no one came for me. No mom. No dad. No sister. No familiar face in a sea of cheering families. Just me. My smile trembled, but I held it. The camera clicked. And somewhere inside, a bruise started forming. People hugged, kissed, cried into flower bouquets. I stood beside a stranger's family, pretending I was waiting for someone, checking my phone every few seconds. Like they were just running late. They weren't. They never were. Everyone left in clusters, balloons bumping against hands, parents helping children into cars, horns honking with excitement. I sat alone in my beat-up Honda Civic, watching families drive away into futures they built together. And in that moment, I imagined mine walking toward me, mom waving, dad holding flowers, my sister in glitter sneakers. But imagination dissolves quickly when reality is louder. Engines roared, doors slammed, someone else hugged their mom goodbye. I stayed still, until the parking lot was almost empty, and the reality settled in. I didn't have a family that showed up, only a family that expected things from me. Growing up, I was the helper, the responsible one, the one who made life easier for everyone else. And Avery, my little sister, was the sun, sparkling, adored, chosen. Every piano lesson, every dance recital, every designer dress, paid for by me, the invisible scaffolding beneath her spotlight. Mom always said, family helps family. Translation, you owe us. I sent money home from my Starbucks job at 16, then from my campus jobs in undergrad, then during grad school when I worked double shifts. Not because I didn't need the money, but because I thought if I helped enough, if I sacrificed enough, they would love me back. I didn't realize love isn't something you earn like overtime hours. Not real love. Real love shows up. Fake love texts you only when they need something. And 3 days after graduation, my phone lit up. No congratulations. No, we're proud. Just this. Need $2,100 for Avery's Sweet 16. A demand. Not a request. Not acknowledgement. Not even humanity. Just entitlement in text form. I stared at the message, and something inside me, something tired and quiet, finally stood up. I sent $1 with the note. Congrats. Then I changed the locks, and for the first time in my entire life, silence felt like freedom. The peace didn't last long. The next afternoon, a knock rattled my apartment door. Not a neighbor's knock, not curious or casual. Firm, purposeful, official. I peered through the peephole. 2 police officers. My stomach sank so hard it felt like a stone dropped in water. I opened the door, voice shaky. Is something wrong? The taller one spoke gently. Miss Reed, we received a call from your mother. She said you've been acting erratically, changing your locks, isolating yourself, and that she's worried you may harm yourself. I almost burst out laughing. Not because it was funny, but because it was so painfully predictable. When manipulative people lose access to you, they don't apologize. They weaponize concern. They perform panic. They use institutions, reputation, pity plays. I let the officers in. My apartment was tidy. Laptop open with job applications. Diploma framed on the wall. Proof of sanity everywhere. The officer softened. You seem perfectly fine. We see this sometimes. People set boundaries, others panic. When they left, I slid down the door, shaking. She didn't just ignore my graduation. She didn't just ask for money. She tried to paint me unstable. That's not concern. That's control dressed as love. And that's when I knew. This wasn't disappointment. This was war. The next morning I checked my bank app and saw 2 credit inquiries. Capital One. Discover. New accounts. In my name. Not opened by me. My heart froze. Pulse sprinting. Hands trembling. I checked the address on file. Not mine. My parents' house. Thousands already spent. Cherry Creek Events. DJ Agency. Glam Studio. Hit me like a punch. The Sweet 16. She didn't ask me for $2,100. She already took it with my identity. My mother didn't just expect my money. She assumed my identity was hers to use. I called the bank. They confirmed it. Co-applicant. Linda Reed. My mother. And in that moment, I stopped being hurt. I became done. Done begging to be seen. Done earning love. Done being useful instead of valued. I opened my voice recorder. One-party consent state. And I called her. She picked up with ice in her voice. So you finally decided to talk. I stayed calm. Mom, I found 2 credit cards under my name. Using your address. Explain. She didn't deny it. She laughed. Cold, dismissive laugh. Oh, that. I was helping you build credit. You should be grateful. What's yours is ours. No remorse. No shame. Not even hesitation. Just entitlement so deep she thought it was normal. I said quietly, what's mine is mine, and what's yours is under investigation. Silence. Then panic. You wouldn't dare. I already did. I hung up, and just like that, a lifetime of obligation snapped. I met them at a diner. Neutral territory. Public. No screaming, no scenes, just truth. My mom arrived trying to look elegant and accusing. Dad looked tired. Avery glued to her phone, absorbed in her own world, because why would reality matter to someone who always gets protected from it? I slid the fraud documents across the table. 2 cards. My name. Your signature. For her Sweet 16. Mom leaned back like she was bored. You're being dramatic. It's family money. I raised you. You owe us. Do you think the world doesn't know who paid for your education? I laughed, sharp, loud, real. I paid for my education. You spent my college fund on Avery's dresses and vacations. I worked double shifts so she could be the princess. Avery scoffed, not understanding yet. Dad whispered, let's not make this public. I looked him dead in the eye. You were okay watching her steal from me. That makes you complicit. Then I told them, the bank knows. The investigation is active. Evidence submitted. They will be contacted. Mom's mask slipped, fear flashing behind anger. You'll regret this. No, Mom. I regret every year I thought love meant loyalty instead of boundaries. I stood up, and I walked out. Outside, the wind felt different. Lighter, cleaner, like oxygen after suffocation. I wasn't their safety net anymore. I wasn't their backup plan. I wasn't their silent wallet or secret shame absorber. I was mine. And finally, they would feel consequences. The Sweet 16 was starting that night. I wasn't invited. But consequences never need invitations. And somewhere, karma was tying its shoes. When that call came from my mother last week, I brushed it off as excitement. Come home, she said. We have a surprise for you. But surprises in my family? They always came with teeth. I walked into the house smiling, expecting warmth, only to find them sitting there. My ex-best friend and my cousin. The same cousin who swore she didn't even like him. The same best friend who promised he'd always have my back. And now, they sat close, too close, like two snakes sharing warmth. My mother was beaming. "These two are getting married," she announced. "We wanted you to be the first to know." My heart didn't drop, it froze. They didn't even look at me. Guilty eyes glued to the floor, like cowards waiting for forgiveness. But forgiveness was never going to live here. So I smiled. Slowly, calmly. The kind of smile that makes the devil lean forward with interest. "That's beautiful," I whispered. "I hope you both get everything you deserve." Because they would. What they didn't know. 2 months earlier I found their messages. Their secret plans. Their betrayal disguised as accidental closeness. So I planned too. By the time they announced their engagement online the next day, screenshots, real ones, started spreading like wildfire. Chat histories, plans to deceive me, mocking my trust. Within hours, their phones were exploding. Family reputation, gone. Wedding plans, canceled. Love story, dead on arrival. And me? I simply watched. Sometimes revenge isn't loud. Sometimes it's silent, patient, and perfectly timed. The internet is a strange judge. It doesn't wait for explanations. By the next morning, they had become the town's favorite scandal. My cousins were so blessed, Instagram bio quietly disappeared. My ex-best friend deleted all his social profiles altogether, but it was too late. Screenshots live longer than relationships built on betrayal. And me? I woke up to peace. The kind you earn, not the kind you ask for. That's when the knock came. 3 soft taps. Hesitant, embarrassed, familiar. I opened the door and there she was, my cousin. Eyes red, makeup smeared, hands shaking like guilt itself had weight. "Please," she whispered. "You ruined my life." I raised a brow. Ruined? Funny how people who stab you still think they are the victims when the blade turns back. "You did that yourself," I said. She tried again, voice breaking, reaching for my arm like we were still family. "We were just confused. It wasn't supposed to happen like this." I stepped back. "No, it wasn't supposed to happen at all." She swallowed, desperate. "He's saying I forced him, that I manipulated him into everything." There it was. Betrayers betray each other once the fire starts. I leaned against the doorframe, calm. "And you expected loyalty? From someone who cheated with you?" Silence. Her eyes finally understood what her choices had earned. She wasn't here for forgiveness. She was here because karma doesn't do refunds. I closed the door gently, not slamming, not shouting. Just ending things the same way they ended my trust. Quietly, behind the wood, I heard her breath break. But some echoes aren't yours to soften. Revenge isn't always rage. Sometimes it's peace with a soundtrack of someone realizing their consequences. A week passed. Silence tasted sweeter than revenge ever did. Family whispers faded, not because they forgot, but because shame has a way of suffocating conversation. Life was calm again, until my uncle called. "We need a family meeting," he said. Translation: "We need someone to blame, and apparently peace makes us nervous." I could have ignored it, but why deny myself front row seats to karma in HD? When I arrived, everyone was already seated. Complete silence. Eyes shifting like they were witnessing a crime scene in real time. Then the door opened. He walked in, my ex-best friend. Looking like betrayal had aged 10 years on his face in just 7 days. Hair unkempt, shirt wrinkled, ego deflated. He didn't sit. He stood in the middle of the room like a man about to plead for air. "I need to explain," he began. My cousin looked away, jaw tight. The honeymoon phase of treachery ends fast without trust to hold it together. He took a breath. "It was a mistake. I shouldn't have let it happen." "But she," I laughed. Not loud. Just enough to slice the room in half. "So now she forced you to cheat? Interesting. Did she hold you hostage for the last 2 months too?" A few ants gasped. Someone whispered, "God forbid." He stuttered, guilt always trips when cornered. I didn't want to lose you." I stared right at him. You lost me the second you decided I didn't deserve loyalty. Dead silence. No anger. No tears. Just truth draining the last bit of dignity from him like a leaking tap. My aunt reached for her chest dramatically, the Nigerian mother heart attack gesture. My uncle cleared his throat like it could clear the shame too. You both disgraced yourselves, he muttered. For once, let the person you betrayed live in peace. I stood. That's all I ever wanted. And walked out. Not triumphant. Not bitter. Just done. Behind me, voices rose. Accusations, excuses, emotional gymnastics. But that wasn't my battle anymore. See, revenge isn't about destroying them. It's about freeing yourself so their collapse has nothing to do with you. I didn't look back. Because people who chose the mud don't deserve to be followed into it. Peace never lasts long when guilt has a heartbeat. 2 weeks passed. Life finally felt normal again. No late-night calls. No pity messages. No family council nonsense. Just silence, the luxury they once stole from me. Until 6:12 p.m. on a rainy Wednesday. My phone buzzed. A name I deleted, now glowing like a bad omen. My cousin. Please, I need to see you. It's urgent. I almost ignored it. Peace tastes best when you protect it. But curiosity, it always wins one round. We met at a small cafe. She walked in slow, eyes swollen, hands shaking, clutching her bag like her whole world was inside it. And then she dropped the bomb. I'm pregnant. The word didn't hit me. It slid past me like I was bulletproof. I blinked once. Calm. And that concerns me because? She inhaled shakily. He's denying it. He said it can't be his. He won't answer me. His family said I trapped him. A bitter laugh almost escaped me. Betrayers always discover the truth in the harshest language. Loyalty borrowed can never be loyalty owned. So what do you want from me? I asked. Her lips trembled. I thought, maybe you could talk to him. He respects you. I stared at her. Really stared. The same cousin who stabbed me in the back. Now asking me to convince the knife to come back and father her child? I leaned forward slowly. You didn't respect me. He didn't respect me. And now you want my help to build a life on the ruins you created. Her silence was answer enough. I stood up. Actions echo. Yours just came back louder. She whispered one last thing, voice cracking like glass. Please, don't let me do this alone. I paused, not for empathy, but clarity. You walked into this alone. Don't drag me into the fire you lit. And I left. Outside, the rain had stopped. Fitting, storms don't chase those who learn to walk away. Karma isn't a punishment. It's a mirror. And hers just finally turned around. Peace didn't just return. It reintroduced itself like a long-lost friend who suddenly had money and soft skin. While they drowned in whispers and family drama, I focused on something far more dangerous than revenge. Growth. Applications submitted. Late nights studying. A silent discipline fueled by betrayal and clarity. 2 months later, the email came. Congratulations, you've been accepted. A professional program abroad. New environment. New life. No ghosts trailing behind me. My mother cried like prayers finally cashed out. My father nodded slowly. That quiet, proud nod Nigerian parents do when they don't want you to see the tears waiting. I packed small. Because when you move forward, you don't carry graves with you. The day before my flight, my phone buzzed again. A number I knew too well. Not her this time. Him. I heard you're leaving. Can we talk? I stared at it for a long second. Funny, how some people want closure only when they realize the door isn't cracked open anymore. I typed back. There's nothing left to talk about. Heal. And I blocked the number. Not out of spite, but because some chapters aren't meant to be reread. At the airport, I looked out the window as the plane warmed up. A soft smile on my face. Not because I won, but because I outgrew the battlefield. They were still arguing over broken trust and unborn responsibility, while I was boarding a future they were never meant to sit beside. Revenge shook the ground beneath them, but success? Success buried the past peacefully. And as the plane lifted, I whispered to myself, this is what moving on feels like. No fire, No noise, just wings. Growth didn't just visit, it built a home in you. New country, new degree, new confidence that wasn't loud, just unshakably calm. Your life looked nothing like the one they tried to break. Work was good. You dressed different. You walked like someone who survived storms and now owned the sky they once drowned in. Then one evening at a networking event, polished glass, soft jazz, quiet luxury, you heard a familiar voice behind you, shaky, surprised, disbelieving. Is that you? You turned. It was him, older, tired. Life had not been generous, karma cashed every check. He forced a smile, the kind that hides regret behind its teeth. Wow, you look amazing. I didn't expect to see you here. You nodded politely, not cold, not warm, just unreachable. Life moves, you replied. He swallowed hard. I just wanted to say, I'm sorry, for everything. You held his gaze calmly. I wish you healing, truly. No anger, no satisfaction, just peace, the kind that scares people more than revenge ever could. He waited like he expected a second chance at something long buried. But you weren't the same person he betrayed. And he wasn't someone you needed to revisit. I need to go, you said softly. My future's waiting. You turned away, not dramatically, but with the quiet power of someone who doesn't owe the past anything. And as you walked off, someone approached you, your colleague, smiling. Ready? They want you to give the project briefing. You nodded, steady and composed, stepping forward into the room where you belonged. Behind you, he watched, realizing too late that losing you wasn't just losing love. It was losing access to a world he could never reach again. That's the thing about growth. Revenge ends battles. Leveling up ends narratives. You didn't just rise. You ascended. Untouchable. Unbothered. Unmatched.